Mr. Kazook is absent. He's recently had knee surgery. We wish him a speedy recovery. Not just knee surgery, but his other knee replaced. Or he would be with us tonight. So he will be absent this evening. And Ms. Wicker.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay. Adoption of the agenda.
The meeting agenda is provided for your review. No changes to the agenda, Ms. Wicker, but Ms. Heather Sloan and Ms. Lindsay Westerfield will be speaking during the public comments regarding one of our agreements that the board will address later on this evening.
I make a motion to accept the adoption of the agenda.
I'll second.
Vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook is absent, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Okay. We're ready for public comments.
Waste no time.
Well, Miss, you all come up to the mic.
I need to come up to the mic or I don't stand here.
Well, your choice.
They're so cute.
That's fine.
Okay, so good evening, I'm Heather Sloan, District Literacy Specialist, and I'm going to briefly speak to you about the wonderful book gifting program called Dolly Park Imagination Library. You may have heard of it. It's in several surrounding counties like Adair and Clinton and Cumberland and Pulaski counties. And in these counties, it's doing what we hope for it to do here, and that's increase kindergarten readiness rates. Half the battle we know in teaching a child to read is instilling a love of reading in them. So with this program, we feel we can do just that by children receiving a free book addressed to them in the mail each month. So how exciting for a child to receive a personalized book in the mail. We know the research says that within the first 3 years of life, 90% of the brain growth occurs. So we want to harness the benefits of this research-based program to ensure our children are exposed to as much literacy as possible during this crucial time. We also want to increase access to books that will result in more reading, more practice reading, or listening to someone read, results in better readers. It's just a simple fact, and we know that. So, and we, Dolly Park Imagination Library, they curate good quality books, and for the kids to have these in their homes, right, with ease of access, we want to provide that for them if we possibly can. So I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Lindsay Westerfield. She's going to provide you additional information about this wonderful book reading program.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you all so much. Again, I'm Lindsay Westerfield. I'm the director of the Russell County Public Library, and we are so excited about the possibility of this program happening for children in Russell County. And we need Russell County Schools' partnership in making this happen for as many children as we can reach in the county. So who is eligible for the program? Children must be under the age of 5, and so we want to reach them at birth during those first 3 years, crucially, when they are building all of those neurons in their brain. So our short-term goal, by this time next year, we would like to enroll 300 students in the program, with our long-term goal reaching at least 80% of all children under the age of 5 in Russell County. When a child enrolls in the program, they will receive their first book within about 2 months, and they'll receive one book every month in the mail, as Heather said, addressed directly to them at their home. Having children enrolled in the program is incredibly easy. It's a very short enrollment form with name, address, birthday, and a parent or guardian signature. We have online enrollment also ready to go for those parents who prefer to enroll online. It would take less than 30 seconds to get your child enrolled. And you may ask, how can this be free? Because it is free to every child receiving a book, and that's the most important part for those families. But there is a cost associated with it, and that's where we truly need your partnership in this. So Dolly Park Imagination Library wants you to estimate $2.50 per child per month. So if you extrapolate that out to the amount of children that we want to reach within the first year, we need each partner to be a financial contributor to the program at about $3,750. That would allow each partner, Russell County Schools, Russell County Public Library, and Russell County Community Early Childhood Education Council to contribute to the program to be able to reach the number of students that we need to reach.
And that amounts to what's outlined in the contract for your all's approval this afternoon,
So
or this evening.
we humbly ask for your partnership in this program to make it a reality for students in Russell County, and that we can sustain this for many
Thank you, Ms. Lindsay Westerfield. I just want to say publicly how much we appreciate you and your staff and our library for what they do for Russell County Schools. You're phenomenal. I've talked to other superintendents about our library, and they're just in awe. Always been true partners ever from the beginning. So thankful for that awesome facility, and I know you all are good stewards with that, but it's great to have awesome community partners like you, and we just appreciate you so much.
Thank you. And as Heather and I have spoken, we think what the true spark of the Russell County Imagination Library is the partnership. The public library could not do this alone. The schools probably could, but we want you to work together with us.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it is truly about partnership, and
Yeah.
we want this to be a joint effort, and with it being a joint effort, we believe that it can reach the children that it needs to reach.
Just think how cheap that is for
Oh,
one
absolutely.
person just to be able to.
Yeah.
And see, Becky, you can already sign yours out.
Going to be a lot of momentum in the community too. I know you're speaking tomorrow at a chamber meeting and send out the stuff like that for chamber meeting, but it's just good. It's just good.
And Mr. Ford, there's some information coming out from KDE. I spoke with Keith Lyons today, so there's a lot of legislative work going on
Yeah.
about extending the program even beyond this pilot program of just 1 year, extending it up to 3 years. So there's a bill in place.
Ms. Heather, the money that they allocated, I don't think they struck it out, but it was for partnerships that are already, or do you?
I asked specifically Keith Lyons today because he was with Dan Steele, our KDE grant
Right.
manager in the meeting. And I asked if we were contributing this amount of money, the $3,750, would that be matching funds, even though it's not specifically coming from the pot of money from SRCL? And he said yes.
Oh,
that
phenomenal.
it would, that we had gotten it started and that we would have matching funds.
Okay, good deal. Appreciate your work on this. This is good. And I failed, it was my fault, I was gonna have them specifically on the agenda, and Ms. Heather sent a really nice email Friday and said, looking forward to this, don't see us listed anywhere, and I said, well, we can fix that, and you can talk during public comments, but I was gonna have this specifically on the agenda, and I just failed to do that, so my apologies for that.
And as a former librarian, it's magic words to get the books into these kids' hands.
Are you saying you're not gonna be in opposition?
Yeah, you can count on it. Okay, next, Russell County Education Association Certified Employee Recognition.
Now, where's Miss Amy at, Dr. Barker?
She's not able to make it.
Well, then don't give it to her then. So you have to be here.
As you know, teachers have 1,000,001 commitments,
Yes.
so we understand when they can't be
Yeah.
here.
I
I myself haven't been home yet today, so we'll get there. This month, RCDA is privileged to, I don't know if this is on, but I'm pretty loud, is privileged to honor Miss Amy Odell from Russell County Middle School as the Certified Employee of the Month. Miss Amy teaches 6th grade mathematics right now. She has taught for 28 and a half years. She's also previously taught at Jamestown Elementary, teaching language arts and mathematics to grades 5 and 6. She got her bachelor's at Lindsey Wilson, her master's in education at Campbellsville, and continued on to get her rank 1 from Western Kentucky University. When we asked her what she liked best about teaching, she says, "It is a joy and a blessing to be able to shape young minds. I love my students and look forward every day to teaching them something new about math and its connection to the world around them." I love that part. As a math person myself, being able to make that connection for the kids is huge. "I want to help my students build a strong foundation, giving them the tools they need to reach their full potential." She loves to read, she loves to cook, she has a farm that she stays active on, and loves to spend time with her family and friends. When asked about her favorite quote, she quoted Christopher Robin to Winnie the Pooh. "Promise me that you'll always remember, you're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." So just a shout out to Miss Amy Odell, who's a wonderful teacher and a great addition to Russell County Middle School.
I had the privilege when I was at Jamestown of working with Miss Amy, and just phenomenal. Thankful that Cody's got her now, Dr. Barkrug, and I, on occasion, when we were virtual, I would get to hear her, and you talk about caring for students, there rarely a time that she would end class that she didn't say, love you guys.
Yes.
Just little things like that, but she does a phenomenal job for us.
Yeah, she's a great math teacher and a wonderful person.
Person,
There's not many out there kinder
Yeah.
than she is.
Thank you.
Okay, next is consent agenda items.
Spot here. We have the approval of minutes of the previous meeting, payment of bills, construction funds, school activity fund reports, financial report, and the treasurer's monthly report for March of 2021. Ms. Carnes is out of town at a training. I don't have it marked here.
Okay, we need a motion.
Yeah, I'll read the report here.
Oh, okay.
In the binder part? Ms. Brenda, would you care to sing for just a minute?
Okay, sing, what do you mean to sing? Mary Had a Little Lamb is my best song. She just loves me. What's going on with our superintendent can't keep up? He's flustered.
Here we go. I'm sorry. Back behind the other one. My apologies.
That's all right.
Lost. Month of March of 2021. So we have balance on hand at the beginning of the month, $7,251,234.90. Total of all receipts for the month, $1,993.90 or $90.40. Total of all receipts and beginning balance, $9,244,325.30. Disbursements for the month, $2,196,268.71. Balance at the close of the month, cash in bank, $7,048,056.59. General fund, Fund 1, $8,139,072.67. Special projects, Fund 2, negative $3,515.88. District activity, Fund 21, $3,784.90. Capital outlay, Fund 310, $135,392.00. FSBK building fund, 320, $390,476.97. Construction fund, 360, negative $1,928,444.77, and I'll make a comment about that. Debt service fund, 400, zero balance. Food service fund, 51, $307,659.00. Fiduciary fund, Fund 7,000, $3,627.70. Total cash in bank of all funds, $7,048,056.59. And of course, this reconciles at the end of March and this month of April, and I sent that to you all, board members. We have received approximately $2.8 million reimbursement for construction. So that fund, although for the month of March reflects still that negative balance, we've received over 2.8 back from the state on our reimbursements from on our construction fund. So, and then on the Fund 2 special projects, oftentimes we run a balance on that until we get the reimbursements. And so on the Fund 360, with that reimbursement from the state, we got a little bit. We're ready to submit another one on some expenditures. That will be back in the positive. And shout out to the Workforce Cabinet for their response. We was working with that. They didn't have any questions whatsoever about it, and processed it within 2 weeks. And I want to publicly thank Mrs. Delk, because I can only imagine some of the forms that they get. But before I upload all this to our portal, she has every check, every invoice, every pay app, and everything is turned the right way, and everything is, even to the file name is labeled with the dollar amount. And so it makes it real easy on me when I go in there to put that amount and tally it all up. But I know on their end, they appreciate receiving files and reimbursement. From a district perspective, I want to say that I'm proud that we can submit a $2.8 million reimbursement and not have the first question on anything that is sent on that with the cabinet. And they turned that back around for us for 2 weeks. And just want to say that.
Thank you, Carol.
That was good.
Yep.
Good job.
I recommend the approval of the consent agenda items.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
I second.
Vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook is absent, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
This next part is not an action item for this is just informational for the board. I wanted to make certain that we were all on the same page with our stimulus funds that we've been getting and will get. ESSER funds, which is the Elementary and Secondary School Relief, Emergency Relief Fund. And there's ESSER 1, 2, and 3. Our ESSER 1 allocation was $1,303,638. The bulk of that is what we spent on the technology to get iPads and Chromebooks in all of our students' hands, and some updates and things on that, in addition to some curricular things. That money has to all be closed out by September 30th of 2022. All of these are going by the federal year. Well, our year, school districts, they end in June 30th. Federal years end in September 30th, and October 1 starts the new year. So that first round of money has to be expended by September 30th, 2022. We've just got literally just a few dollars left in that, and that will be taken care of. ESSER 2 allocation of $4,326,980. That has to be expended by September 30th of 2023. I know you all saw on the agenda, the next item, number 9, there are funding assurances. So this money has not been spent prior to you all approving the ESSER 2 funding assurances this evening. And that money has to be expended by September 30th of 2023. And then the latest round is the ESSER $3, and it is $9,717,783, and it has to be gone by September 30th of 2024. And I put a note on there, we have not received guidance yet or the official award notification yet. So with all these attachments that I gave you all on this, you saw the different allocations on that spreadsheet for all the districts, but that's not our official award notification from the state. We will get official award notification. So you look at that 3 years essentially from now, all this money has to be spent. So we are looking at a lot of really good things, and part of this funding assurances, I'll talk some more on the next item, but certainly instructional materials for our textbooks. Ms. Reed has been working hard with our principals on talking to them about their needs, and we'll be getting some quotes. And a lot of that has shifted. Ms. Bowles and I had a conversation about that. You know, textbooks today look a lot different from what we consider textbook years ago, where so much of it is digital, and the principals and our students and our teachers use so much online subscription versus just a hard back book. Not that we're not looking at some of those, and a lot of the instructional options. At a future board meeting, I would like to bring to you, appreciate the high school recommendation or request, our science labs for the high school. That high school was built 88, 89, opened up during the 88, 89 school year, and they've not been updated since then. And so to think about our biology labs, our chemistry labs, and this is an exciting time to think about that we can go in there and update those classrooms with the labs and things that every student has biology in high school, so every student's going to get the advantage of that. So many of our college prep classes with chemistry 2 and things like that, but then just our freshman integrated science classes, all those are important for our students. So I'll say all of that. A lot of things will be coming to you all at future board meetings. Some of it will, for instance, if you all approve and we get a plan together to do the science labs at the high school, that's a BG1 with the state because it involves in their eyes some construction things. And doing all that. But this is not an action item. I just wanted to make certain that we all have the same information, and knowing that September 30th, 2024 is when all of the funds are to be expended. Which leads into the next one, Ms. Wicker.
You can always find use for money. It has to be noted that it's direct use of for the kids and teachers and all, so.
Yep.
It's good. Okay, approve the ESSER 2, two assurances.
So the attached ESSER 2 funds, we have to submit them. I have to go in there and click everything off on what we call GMAP. It's the funding worksite, if you will, the Kentucky Department of Education. But before they are to be, before we expend these funds, the board has to approve the funding assurances. The assurances also include the provision of ESSER 2 state set-aside fund, an additional $75 per pupil, provided that the district spend 85% of the allocated ESSER 2 funds on direct services to students and offer 12 or more hours each week of in-person instruction, which Russell County is already doing that. So let me just kind of break that down. If the board agrees to spend 85% of ESSER 2 funds on direct services for students, so that is additional instructional assistance, that might be the textbooks, that might be subscription services we use on Chromebooks. One thing it's not is not purchasing Chromebooks. We can't purchase computers or Chromebooks. That's not considered direct service, but the programs you use on it are considered a direct service. But there's a whole litany of things that are actually direct services. If the board approves that we will use 85% of our ESSER 2 funds on direct services, the State Department of Education will give us $75 per pupil of additional dollars. So we kind of hate to throw that money away to where everything that we have planned for this would be services for students anyway with this. But before we can do that, again, the assurances here are attached on your board packet. There's a funding matrix that I gave to you under Section 8. It outlines everything that we are allowed to spend with the funds and what you're not allowed to spend with the funds. Keep in mind, too, when we had our principals meeting last week, we have to keep in mind that this is gone by September 30th, 2024. So it's not a recurring source of funds. You know, it's this time and gone, and 2024 is just a little over 3 years away. So these funding assurances also include the provision that we will spend 85% of ESSER 2 on direct services for students, and that in turn entitles us to get $25 or $75 additional funds per child.
That's a no-brainer.
I recommend the ESSER 2 assurances be approved as presented, including participation in this ESSER 2 state set-aside fund, which is the $75 per pupil.
I make a motion to that effect.
I'll say Gerald did.
Mr. Murray?
Yeah.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham?
Yes.
Mr. Kazook's absent, and Ms. Wicker?
Yes. And then previously approved BG1 for Russell Springs Elementary School exterior freezer.
Okay, at the previous board meeting, at the March 2021 board meeting, you all approved a new exterior freezer for Russell Springs Elementary School, and at that time, we were going to use ESSER 2 funds to pay for that freezer. Since that time, and I submitted the BG1 to the state, and then they told me that before they could process that, the assurances had to be approved, which we did do tonight. But we do have enough capital outlay funds left that we need to spend. So all this BG1 does is change the funding source. Instead of using ESSER 2 funds to pay for that exterior freezer, we will switch that to use to pay for it with capital outlay funds. The fund amounts and the project scope and everything else that we're doing remains the same. It's just that capital outlay funds are a little bit more restricted this year than what they have been in the past, and this is an allowable expense to use with them. So, and we'll save the ESSER 2 funds and that much more.
Unless we go to waste.
So I recommend that the revised BG1 for the exterior freezer at Russell Springs Elementary School be approved as presented. And again, only thing we're doing is changing the funding source.
I make a motion we amend the previously approved BG one for Russell Springs Elementary School exterior freezer. I'll second.
Vote.
Okay, Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham.
Yes.
Mr. Kazook is absent, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. FY '22 salary and extra service salary schedules.
I would love to sit here with you all tonight and feel good about recommending raises for our employees. They absolutely need it. But in absence of an increase in a funding stream from the state or increase in local taxes, and really the 4% wouldn't even cover a 1% raise for employees, I can't sit here and tell you all that to raise salaries. Not that we're not going to be giving step increases, 5 years of employment, 10 years of employment, things like that, folks get a raise. But just across the board, a 1% or 2% or 3% raise, certainly, again, our employees deserve that. But there's no funding stream that keeps up with that. Our SEEK doesn't do that with the state. There's no allocation in the state budget. I will come back to you all and ask this, if the state continues to provide full day funding for kindergarten. A lot of people, I got questions about that during the legislature, and so appreciate the allocation for the full day kindergarten. That was wonderful. Right now it's a 1-year deal. A lot of people don't realize that kindergarten's only funded half, so you get half funding. And the only thing you're obligated to do is provide half-day kindergarten, which we don't do. We provide full-day kindergarten, and we suck up the difference in the cost. If the state continues to allocate money for full-day kindergarten, Ms. Carnes and I are both in agreement that that's a great time that we could come back to you all and say, we're going to have this funding stream to do this and to give raises to our faculty, staff, and administration that need it. In absence of that, I could tell you today, let's increase, salaries, but then you will see what's happened in the past. Our general fund balance will drop, and it will drop the next year, and drop because that's a recurring expense that we don't have the revenue to offset it. In light of, again, increase in taxes or increase from the state. So with this keeps, again, if someone's been step increases, and when I say step, that means they go from 3 years to 4 years or 5, whatever the step is of what they're increasing. In absence of that, this keeps, unfortunately, our salary schedules and extra service salary schedules, I'll use the term stagnant, as they were the same as last year. This is something you all have to do each year, and then we have to know what the board's wishes are for this to develop our budget that we'll present to you in May. We did clarify some things. I'll draw your attention on the extra service pay schedule. For instance, classified staff, sometimes we have maybe an instructional assistant that works during the day, and they may fill in as a sub-custodian or something in the evening. We did clarify that you're paid for whatever job you're performing. So you might be an instructional assistant during the day, but in the evening, then you would be paid in the custodial rate. Not your regular rate of what your daily job is doing. And then, as you all know, early on, a few months ago, the board agreed to increase the hourly rate for certified staff for extended teaching, summer school, after school, and things like that. So, again, we have all this stimulus money, but the stimulus money will be gone, and we'll still have salaries there. I just don't want to put the board or myself in a position without knowing that I can come to you all and say we have a funding stream that's going to be here to match this up. Again, kindergarten may make it work for our faculty and staff. If that happens again next year and we know that's going to happen, we can absolutely give raises to our faculty and staff if we get full day funding for our kindergarten.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. And after everything our faculty and staff administrations went through, I would love to do it this year, but I'm not comfortable doing it with something not to offset that recurring cost. That's what we have to keep in mind. If you do something that's gonna obligate yourself to it every year, where's the money gonna come from every year? Because we can drain that general fund balance down, but I know you all are just like me and Ms. Carnes, we wanna have that general fund balance
We've been there, done
for hard times as well.
that. We've been there, done that.
We have been there and done that. It's not a good feeling, is it?
Oh, no. Same way it is home.
But I've lived through having to lay teachers and staff off, and I don't want to do that again.
But I'm really, and I can't say enough, Representative Branscombe and Senator Wise on the full day kindergarten funding. That's a game changer for us. And if that continues to happen, then we can make that work.
So if anyone's talking to either one of them, make sure you thank them for it and emphasize that we need to keep it up. So,
But we know where they live if they don't.
yes.
So I recommend adoption of the tax salary and extra service salary schedules as presented. And again, this will drive that salary portion of the budget that will be presented to you all at the May board meeting.
Motion.
Motion to adopt the tax salary and extra service salary schedules as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Murray.
To death tonight. We're going to work to death tonight without Richard.
He's second home life.
Joe second.
Mr. Murray, second.
Okay.
Yes.
Vote.
Okay, Mr. Murray.
You vote yes? He's asking, do you vote yes? He's asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So, Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook absent, and Ms. Whitaker.
Yes.
And again, I know you all want to give raises. I want to give a raise, and so I hope something can come up for us.
Okay, 2021-2022 district staffing and SBDM allocation policy.
The Russell County Board of Education shall notify each council of the school's final staffing and SBDM allocation for the next fiscal year. This is for school year 21-22 by May 1st. And I recommend the approval of the final staffing formula, the SBDM allocations, and the staffing and allocation policy for 21-22 school year, and the formula will become part of the minutes. And so this is outlines again, just like we did at the tentative, each, the ratio of students to teachers, the number of custodians that the schools gets, even down to the bookkeepers, and then the allocation based upon the ratio of how many positions that each school is provided, in addition to their seek allocation for their school operating budgets. And this allocation for fiscal year 22 for our principals is at the full amount, $140 per kid that we give the schools. They use that for copiers and just a litany of things, but that is at the full amount for our principals.
Motion.
I'll make that motion. Do I have to read all that? We approve the 2021-22 district staffing and SBDM allocation policy.
I'll second.
Okay.
Evidently, I didn't read it all, nobody said no.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook absent, and Ms. Whitaker.
Yes. Additional primary instructional assistance.
Okay, working with our principals, especially our elementary principals, and just talking about needing some help for classes and more importantly noted for the students. Due to, maybe we have students that were virtual, that haven't came back at all in person, and certainly we were all virtual for an extended period of time. Adding additional instructional assistance at the primary grade levels would afford students extra assistance to help recover learning loss due to COVID-19. With board authorization, the Russell County Schools can employ an additional instructional assistance using ESSER II stimulus funds. And keep in mind, that's the dollars that we spend on direct services to students. I suggest employing additional instructional assistance for the primary grades equal to the number of first grade classes. So currently, Russell Springs has 4 first grade classes, Salem has 3, and Jamestown has 3. That's a total of 10. The number is equivalent to the first grade classes, but then the principals would have the discretion to use them in the primary grades. And it could be that, one particular first grade class is pretty set, but maybe a principal needs to use one of the assistants in a second grade math class and to pull out and work individually with students. So based upon this, they would have that discretion. Also, based upon the how it's written, if a school, for instance, I'll just use Jamestown as an example, has a big influx and they were to get an additional need additional first grade teacher, then by this motion, they would automatically get, then I would allow them to get the additional instructional assistant as well. I'm only proposing this for the 21-22 school year. Now, if this year rolls around and we're sitting here this time next year, we still have a lot of our stimulus funds dollar. I'm not going to say that I wouldn't recommend this again next year using stimulus money. Obviously, we couldn't support this out of general fund, but we can certainly support it out of stimulus funds. So using the ESSER II stimulus funds, I recommend that each elementary school be allocated additional instructional assistants for use in the primary grades equal to the number of first grade classes per school for school year 21-22. And again, I wouldn't come back and do this unless you all gave permission to keep them going for the next year using stimulus money. Again, the principals were all in agreement that this is something that would be most beneficial for our students. Anybody can tell you you hit students. No, I shouldn't use the word hit them. Engage them hard, engage them a lot heavy at the primary level is when to do that, and this would certainly afford them the opportunity to do that.
What happens if a bunch of them comes back for another year? What do we do with it?
A bunch of students?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that at the end. Currently, we have 33 students spread across the grade levels that want to come back. We could, if we're having a board meeting today, I'd recommend, we allow them to do that. We could spread out 33 kids across.
I was just talking about would the class be too full?
Yeah, with 33 spread apart, it would be fine.
That's open.
We do have a larger number of students that are being retained. The teachers talk with the parents and everybody is outside of Senate Bill 128. So
That's including them too, or not included?
I'm sorry.
That number's not.
No, the ones that I have requested, sent out the survey for me is 33 today. A few of them are not eligible, like preschool. I've had a parent or two ask for that, and they're not eligible to repeat preschool again. And me and the central office staff are going to have conversations. And I know there'll be others because I've had parents call and ask questions. And I also know some of those that have submitted have also since changed their mind due to a variety of reasons. But that's, I am going to cross-reference with Ms. Joy with the students that the principals have given me. But for the most part, the 33 is absent, the ones that are being retained.
This is the do-over year.
The Senate Bill 128 is the do-over year.
You need a motion?
I do.
I recommend the 2 attached change order. Oh, wait a minute, no, I'm gone there to another one. Oh, hang on just a second.
Where you missed before the bed today?
I recommend using the stimulus funds to hire additional instructional assistants for use in the primary grades equal to the number of first grade classes per school for this next year.
I see.
And just before you all vote, I also want to note that it could be, somebody that's got a teaching degree that doesn't get a full-time job, but they take this job. Of course, it would not be a teacher pay, it would be instructional assistant pay, but they would still have insurance. They would get a year, well, not hardly, but go towards a year of retirement, even though it'd be a different system, but it still counts as a year of credit of service. So all those things are advantageous. They would get sick days and personal days, versus just subbing and missing out. So there's a lot of advantages to that as well.
And they might make such an impression you want them.
Yeah, it's a working interview, absolutely.
I don't know about everybody else, but I wonder how the kindergarten and first grade you know, how they could learn through, when they really hadn't been instructed personally or in person, and until recently. And so this will help those teachers tremendously, bring them up to where they should be. So,
I know the principals and teachers would be appreciative.
okay, we've had the motion.
Yep, we have Ms. Wilson made it, Ms. Higginbotham second.
Vote.
Okay. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook absent, Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Change orders, Lake Cumberland Regional College and Workforce Center.
Okay, on change order, on number 14, change orders, the two attached change orders, really, we're just allowing the contractor to withdraw their bid. They submitted this and only submitted one floor of furniture, and of course, we needed two, so we have actually a deduct of $28,390, and then for the Daniel Group, $1,430, and then we'll pick that up for another vendor. There's nothing really else to add to that, Mr. Smith, so I recommend the two attached change orders for KDI Office Furniture and Daniel Group LLC be approved as presented. And again, these are deducts from the
Money back.
money. Yeah.
So we'd have to take bids again on those.
State price contract, for instance, Burco is on state price contract, and we've been working with them, with Ms. Roy.
Okay, we need a motion.
I make a motion, we have a change order to the Lake Cumberland Regional College and Workforce Center for the deducts.
I'll second it. Vote.
Okay, Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook absent, Ms.
We all
Wicker.
want money.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, what the heck we got in there?
Go ahead.
Okay, on 15, the proposal requests, these are number 23 through 27 for the Lake Cumberland Regional College and Workforce Center. Mr. Smith, since you're here, I'll just kind of let you go through, make use of you.
I'll just go through them in order. Proposal request number 23 is an additional circuit for the air compressor dryer that was not included in the original design, it's required by code. That total proposal request is $1,011.20. That's to Fayette Electric, along with the CMV. You want to talk about them one at a time? Or
Yeah.
all?
No, go ahead, yeah, just go ahead.
Proposal request number 24. There is part of this that we do not have pricing back yet for. This is a request that the board made, Mr. Ford made to look at. This pricing for 24 that we have right now is putting a fence at the front main sidewalk entrance. I've been out there. There's a great difference between the sidewalk and where the landscaping went in. It's a pretty good drop in grade. I don't think anybody realized when it was designed it would be that much greater.
There's a slab of concrete, nice concrete that's already there, and then it just goes from right there into the gravel over the hillside. And two purposes, I don't want people messing up our landscape and trying to walk back and forth. But number two, I think it's a safety issue if there's no guardrail fence through there, because if you're out there and Miss Brenda pushes you, you're gonna go down that little bank. Mr. Murray chuckled at that, Miss Brenda.
Sure are,
But it's gonna serve two purposes. It's gonna protect their landscape, and it's gonna keep people
Protect
from,
people.
yeah.
And the total for that proposal request number 24 is $5,199.96. That's the price of construction with the civil page. Proposal request number 25. These are some added diffusers in one of the rooms that was, the original ceiling does not have ceiling tile in it. You have to use different diffusers. You've got ceiling tile, or if you do not have, this room does not have ceiling. So the way it was designed, we had to change the type of diffuser in there because there was no ceiling in that room. And that's not mechanical. That proposal request is $819.55. Proposal request number 26. This is check valves that has to be added into one of the air conditioning units that was not included in the original design. This is the nice mechanical. This is the one that the engineers agreed to pay part of the labor, because this was really should have been done when the units were installed, but it was not designed that way. So, CMTA, before we start CMTA, they're gonna write me one check for,
$924, I think is what it is. If they, we have to have it, so it's not like we've already paid for it, but it was left out of the original design. But if they would have been doing the work with the original, the labor would have been less. So I asked Destin that works with Branscoms, I said, get with Knights, have them to figure what that additional labor is now, because they didn't do it originally. So it's about $924. And so they will write a check back to us to cover that additional cost versus if how they would have been paying that at the very beginning, and then we'll take that check and deposit it into the construction fund account.
and this total for this proposal was $7,541.15, includes that $900. However, you will get reimbursed for that part of it from CMTA.
Right.
Proposal Quest 27, this is kind of a miscellaneous catch-all of several items that's been discussed throughout, now that we're entering the end of this project. First item is additional rock at the back slope of the parking area. This is the slope going down towards the soccer field, where that is so hard to mow. We were going to regrade part of that, but instead of sowing that grass, we worked with piles, and they would put rock on that. That way it would be easier to maintain and spray it and not have to mow.
It's a pretty steep bank to try to keep it maintained, and they can come in there and labor it with the rock and clean it up really well, and then it's done.
The parking piles estimated for that is $2,325. The other items, at the east lower parking lot, right behind the softball field, original sidewalk was designed to stop by that last light pole. If you see our construction trailers down there where we've got storage trailer sidewalk ends right there. We wanted to look at, talking to Mr. Ford, of extending that sidewalk basically all over the Eric Lane. So when people park there, they can walk all the way across that sidewalk and then not stop at that last light pole. So,
You all wouldn't like it anyway. It's just, you cannot envision everything when you're planning a project until it's done. But if we know now what we know now, we would say, where's the sidewalk at? But you see that now. And so it was just, it would finish it so much better if you all approved to have that sidewalk go on out to Eric Lane instead of just stopping. And then especially that little road is there.
Goes down through there.
To the softball field. Yeah, nobody knows that.
But that sidewalk that's on this side of that's half covered up with dirt. Are you gonna get that off? That goes down on this side, the sidewalk that's already there.
the existing sidewalk?
Yeah.
After that last round,
Well, it looks like where stuff's run over it, it's just dirt over.
well, part of it was fixed. When was the last time you saw that?
Last week.
Okay. Then that part that was taken up, if it's not been fixed yet, they're gonna fix that.
Oh, well, it might be taken up, I just know that it was, I was walking on dirt.
So the added sidewalk to bring it all the way over there, Eric Lane, is $1,445. The exterior doors, some of the exterior doors didn't have pulls designed on them. And we worked with the hardware supplier on those, adding those pulls is $1,697. In the automotive shop, once that space was completed, there's those large windows in the automotive shop, and after discussion, we'll look at adding guard posts in front of those windows. They would be bolted down the floor in front of those windows, so if somebody wants to drive off through there, they're gonna need those guard posts when they're through the window.
We have 2 large windows in there, awesome, everybody loves natural light, and I can appreciate it as much as anybody, but we just got concerned with a student in there with vehicles. If somebody put one in reverse when they were supposed to be nudging it up and drive a little bit.
This is on the inside?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the post would go right there along the base of the window, and so they would hit the post before they hit our nice windows in the automotive shop.
And we would add 4 posts per window.
And this probably will help.
We put 4 in front of each window. Price of those is $2,303. And also, the next slide, kitty painting, those all need to be painted, so that added $600 for the kitty painting. They're adding switches for the overhead doors. What was originally designed for the overhead doors, switch lights would not work. These are the corrected switches that Fayette can provide. Those are $539.46. There was an added 25-pair telephone line. This is basically the communication line from here, from the building back to the high school that will That was not included in the original design. The price for that is $2,976.45. This total, number 27.
Which is not an option, we have to have the connectivity with that.
Actual total line. Total proposal request 27 is $15,183.63. Of course, that's split between 4 different contractors.
John, do you know off the top of your head if we've got the price back on painting on the exterior of the, trying to think which, the support that we have out there for those units that we moved up? Okay. We are literally down to, the fine detail stuff on this project. You all heard me say this every board meeting. It's just been wonderful. Doing a punch list with Mr. Smith on Friday with our architects and engineers, where we will literally go through. And we've already done a lot of this as we went, and you all know Larry and Keith have just been fabulous to work for or with. But I feel like I work for Larry. We'll put that on record, John. Yes, at a board meeting, I acknowledge that I work for Larry McGowan. But they have. It's just been wonderful. And all of them have. Knight's Contractor, Knight's Mechanical today, they had me looking at some of the vents today and making sure that we were happy with them. It's just been such a good experience.
Did you all hear All Things Russell?
Yes.
I thought
Miss Roy and Sarah
Roy
and
Larry
Larry.
did a
Yeah, they did.
phenomenal job. Well, he should.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was so excited.
So again, August the 1st to 2 to 4
She
is the
charged.
official dedication.
August the charges.
Yep.
Well, the night when you place turning lights on, it's fabulous. It looks
And they're
fantastic.
LED. So,
Yeah.
Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, state inspector will be here to leave. Larry Young has his way, and they don't die in the process. You all have temporary occupancy Tuesday.
Yep.
So after Tuesday, you'll start occupying the building.
So August the 1st is the open house or
Dedication, yep. It's on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4. We'll get some official out, Ms. Joy, invitations and stuff.
Did you say August 1st?
August 1st, yeah. I think I put that in the email to you all.
You did.
Okay, you did. And we've got some good folks coming. I know one of the associate commissioners, Mr. Horseman's going to try to be here. The gentleman that's been our contact with the Work Ready Skills Initiative grant money, he's going to be here. Lieutenant Governor Coleman asked his office to talk with her and see if because this is her department, the Secretary of Workforce Development Cabinet. So we're really looking forward to that, and just letting the public see it. And been bringing through some college students that are going to be taking some night classes there this fall, and really want the public to know again, HVAC, electrical, welding will all be offered this fall there, and then in the spring there's going to be EMT class, and so we're really excited about our partnerships with Somerset Community College.
Do I need to talk backs?
I think they know. I think I've sent that to both of them. Or they will have. So I recommend that the proposal request 23 through 27 for the Lake Cumberland Regional College and Workforce Center be approved as presented and authorize Superintendent Ford to complete the necessary change order paperwork.
I'll make a motion, we approve all that reading.
Second.
I'll second.
Joy second.
Joy? Okay, Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook absent, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Contracts and memorandums of agreement.
Okay, the first one is what Ms. Westerfield and Ms. Sloan discussed, is this is Russell County Dolly Park Imagination Library Partner Agreement. And again, our responsibility for our part is the $3,750, and this runs from July 1, 2021 to this agreement through June 30th of 2022. And then the second one is an agreement that is not foreign to you all. You see this each year. And again, we appreciate our partnership with Somerset Community College. This is the school year 21-22 dual credit memorandum of agreement between our school district and Somerset Community College.
motion to approve the contracts and memorandum of agreements that's been approved by the board attorney.
You?
I'll say that.
Vote. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham.
Yes.
Mr. Kazook is absent, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Overnight and out-of-state trips.
One of them's been happening.
The following groups have received approval from the superintendent for the following overnight or out-of-state trips: Russell County High School, the baseball team for Owensboro for April 23rd through 24th. You all previously approved the trip to Harrison County on those same dates, and that has been canceled, so fortunately, they were able to find a tournament that took their place. And then December 26th to the 30th, 2021, the Russell County Boys Basketball to Pensacola, Florida, for the Emsbury, probably not pronouncing that correct, holiday basketball tournament. And again, the Harrison County trip has been canceled, so I recommend approval of the overnight and or out-of-state trips,
Why are they asking so early?
just to get it planned, fundraising and how we're gonna pay for it all. We thought about holding a month, but then we just go ahead so they can get their approval, so they can make their arrangements. That's called on the ball.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
I make a motion to approve the overnight and out-of-state trips.
No, second.
okay.
I'll second it.
Ms. Brings
I did, okay. Vote?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook's absent, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Educational leave of absence.
Haley Dudgeon is requesting an educational leave of absence without pay effective August 18, 2021, continue for 75 days to allow her to complete her student teaching. I want to publicly congratulate Ms. Dudgeon of working with us as an instructional assistant, going back to school, and then ready to do her student teaching this fall. That's great. Barring no weather closures or other unforeseen school closings, her time will conclude December 9th, 2021. I recommend that the Russell County Board of Education grant Haley Dudgeon an educational leave of absence without pay effective August 18, 2021 for 75 days to conclude December the 9th, 2021.
I make a motion we grant Haley Dudgeon an educational leave of absence.
I'll second.
Without pay.
Okay? Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
is absent, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes.
Freeze.
Fundraiser.
I've not had supper yet either, Ms. Joy.
Krispy
Yeah,
Kreme.
the following group has received approval from the superintendent for the fundraiser for Jamestown Elementary School. It's going on April 12th to the 23rd for Krispy Kreme donuts. I recommend approval of the school-wide fundraiser.
Whoever selling it, me, Joey wants a ball.
I'll make a motion to approve the school-wide fundraiser.
Thank you.
We should make this goose nigger.
Okay. Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Kazook is absent. Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Accept, reject bids, 16 foot gooseneck trailer.
This was the only item on the last surplus items that did not receive any bids, and so we put it back out. This time we received bids on it, with the highest bid being one by Nick Coppage for $655. The bids were opened and tabulated by central office staff on April 15th at 9 a.m. So I recommend approval of the bid received from Nick Coppage on the 16-foot gooseneck trailer. It'd be his responsibility, of course, to take possession of it.
I'll make a recommend, make, take that motion, and take it right.
Take it right. Yeah. It looks high to me, but what do I know?
We didn't get this last time.
We didn't get any last time, and now we got this. Yeah.
I second it.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham.
Yes.
Mr. Kazook absent, Ms. Wicker.
Yes. Purchase of 3 new school buses.
Okay, and this is another allowable expense with stimulus dollars, but we also have enough capital outlay money.
We're rich.
With our school bus, so again, purchase these and not use general fund dollars. But I do want to make certain that you all are clear on 2 things. These buses are in stock, ready right now, just waiting for any district to say, yeah, we want them, put our name on them and number them. And I say that because if we take these buses now, they do have air conditioning on these buses. And that's an added cost. So I see that on 2 different ways. I'm thankful for us to have the funds and to be able to get the buses, and they be in stock now so we can get them immediately in our fleet, because you all know how long it is out for buses. And I also thought during summertime, when we do have those few limited trips, these would be 3 new buses that would be great to take on longer trips, that would be safe and the newest buses and would have air conditioning. Having said that, we all know that if we were to have air conditioning that goes down, it obviously costs more to fix if we choose to do that, but I just didn't want to draw that out to your all's attention if we take advantage of this, and I'm good with taking advantage of them. I think it would be great to have them in our fleet that would have air conditioning, and especially to get 3 buses for $334,000 and they be in stock, ready to go. And again, these are on the state price contract list, and so we're good to go with them. But it's 1 52-passenger bus and 2 72-passenger buses. Total price of $334,754, and they all also come with the camera system, the surveillance system with this. And you'll have the spec sheets on the quotes on the other pages following the staff notes. So they will, right now, currently, we've just been purchasing buses for our handicapped students, on handicap buses with air conditioning. And this would add some more to our regular fleet that would have it. And again, I think with trips in the summer and things like that, when kids run a bus for an extended period of time, it would be great to have.
This will be the only 3 that has air conditioning.
We've got another one that we used, that we kind of purchased in a similar situation, that was a handicap bus, but it's full also, that we use on regular routes sometimes. It does. And to my knowledge, Ms. Joy, off the top of my head, I think that's correct, except for our handicap buses.
Yeah.
I could be wrong with that, but we do not typically purchase buses with air conditioning. But we've got our capital outlay funds for this current year that we need to spend, and buses are an allowable expense for that, and we need them spent by 6:30. And these are buses. Fortunately, Mr. Wolford locked in, and they're in stock right now, waiting for the district to take them. Yeah.
Oh, I definitely recommend approval of purchase of the 3 school buses.
With air conditioning.
They're equipped.
And paying cash.
Second that.
Huh?
Second that.
Me too.
And speaking of paying cash, I think this is our last year that we will make a payment on the KISTA bus payments. And so all of that, otherwise,
Praise the Lord.
we've always
That's
paid for
great.
the buses and not financed.
Let's not do that no more.
Yeah, and I think that was before our time.
I know it.
But this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last year for that.
Good.
Should vote.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham.
Yes.
Mr. Kazook absent, Ms. Wicker.
As someone who's ridden school buses to Memphis and other places with the band, I'd say yes. Air conditioning would have been good then. Russell County Schools continuation of learning plan.
Ms. Bethany. Ms. Bethany, that mic I don't think is on. You can hit it at the bottom.
Grandmothers know how to do that.
Check, check.
There.
There we go.
Told you.
This afternoon, when I was reviewing the plan, there was one change that I had to make from the one that you all had gotten submitted to you, and I'll talk about which one that is. The NPI is something that all of us have lived since March of 2020, and the State Department has changed the way that we submit the application. The past few years, you all have approved an NTI application that's been presented to you that the Kentucky Department of Education approves using a rubric that they scored it by. So, starting with this year, it is called the Continuation of Learning Plan. And this is part of our district improvement plan. This is phase 4. Back in December, you all approved our comprehensive improvement plan, all the assurances that went with that, all the diagnostics that went with that. This is just a continuation of that plan. This has to be submitted to Kentucky Department of Education by May 1st, so that's just a few days. According to Kentucky Department of Education, the NTI program is reverting to its intended purpose and rules in the 2021-2022 school year. The purpose of NTI prior to the pandemic was to ensure that learning continued during short-term, up to 10-day school closures. It was intended to reduce learning loss in those situations. While we are fortunate that we were able to modify it for the use during the pandemic, we all look forward to it returning to its original purpose, with it only being, the 10 days. The State Department has also told us that there will not be unlimited NTI days in the 2021-2022 school year. So they do not foresee doing what we did this past year in them, recommending the emergency days. NTI is only for use on days when you close the entire district, school, or for health or safety reasons. NTI is not utilized for virtual or hybrid students, and it cannot, with very limited exceptions, be pre-approved. An NTI day will occur for health or safety reasons, and the district subsequently requests approval for them to be counted as student attendance days, and we cannot build NTI days into our calendar. So what you have before you is our plan, and as you can see, it asks us several questions and how we were going to implement continuation of learning on our NTI days. We are fortunate that we are now a 1-to-1 ratio with devices that students can use on those 10 NTI days. If we have to close school, it won't be the paper packets like we've had in the past. We will just continue our learning using Google Classroom. As Mr. Ford mentioned earlier, the Google Suite, Google Classroom, and all of the things that come with that is something that we can use the ESSER funds to continue with, so that our students and our teachers will continue the use in the classroom, making sure that the students know how to use those programs, but not like we have this past year. We are looking at, if teachers need it this year, is how to provide some PD from Mr. Godby, Miss Heather, myself, and Missy and Tanya, of how to use those Chromebooks and those electronic devices to enhance the face-to-face instruction, so that it's not just opening that Chromebook every single day in every class. We still want to use that technology because it is something that is important, and we are so glad that we have it. The one question that I had to change from what was submitted to you all on Friday is on page 5. And it is question 2C. And question 2C says, how, if at all, will the district ensure a continuation of learning occurs for those students utilizing, for any reason, non-traditional instruction
during time periods when the district may be offering and providing in-person instruction to other students. And at the time that we typed the continuation of learning plan, the State Department came out and said districts do not have to offer a virtual opportunity or setting in the 21-22 school year. Therefore, our answer now reads, a virtual learning option is not required for the 21-22 school year. Therefore, Russell County students will be in person next year, and a virtual or hybrid setting will not be offered. We also in this plan had to describe how that we were going to provide a continuation of learning in all settings for students that have IEPs, for students who have other programs that they're part of, like Gifted and Talented, and things like that. So if there are any questions that you all have about any of the answers to any of the questions, I am here to answer those. But we made it clear that we do continue the learning, especially with these Chromebooks. It'll be a seamless transition from what they're doing in the classroom to what they would be doing on one of these NTI days if we have to take any of those. They'll just, we may call it an e-learning day, or NTI would be just e-learning. It's not that we're just going to sit home and do a paper packet. We have the technology now to just to continue on with what we're doing.
And also, just to comment that we will certainly continue to offer homebound services for any student. You know, they may have a condition that they're, for whatever reason, their physician or their psychiatrist or whomever feels like they cannot attend school either, you know, for the year or a limited amount of time, and we have staff that will continue to provide that service for students. And that may or may not increase next year. I can see actually that it may due to some circumstances of some particular students and particular health conditions, and we will we'll make provisions for those students.
So glad we're not offering virtual.
Right. But as far as just a blanket virtual option, take it or choose, that is not what it's.
We hope so.
I want to shout out to our partnerships with community agencies that have helped us over the last year and the couple of months in the previous year. To increase opportunities for continuation of learning during non-traditional instruction days, Russell County Schools partners with the following community agencies. The Russell County Public Library makes available technology available and media resources. They have designated quiet spaces that offer students to learn, and opportunities for scheduling a tutor were also available. We have many daycare facilities that participate by providing support, internet access, and help in time completing those NTI assignments. And we also have some local churches and businesses in Russell County that are equipped with Wi-Fi capabilities where students may go to complete their non-traditional assignments. And also with Duo County providing a discounted rate for those first-time people that were signing up for internet throughout this pandemic. And then also with some of the funds that they allowed earlier for the Board of Education to get some internet and those MiFi devices.
Last mile internet funding.
Yes.
That's what we used for the MiFi and purchasing internet service through Duo Broadband.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, it's great.
I learned how to do it, I had to do Zoom, so we don't learn a little something on it.
There have been, it has, and you can ask the principals and our teachers, it's not all been bad.
Right.
We have had our students and our faculty and staff to increase in technology skills and, in absence of this, I know Kobe Lee would be manipulating the Chromebook the same way he can now. And all those things are not bad,
No. It's a good things.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd ever be doing this, but that's good. A plus.
I appreciate Miss Bethany staying on top of this. And got her contacts at the state that can pick up the phone and talk with. And I recommend that the Russell County Schools Phase 4 continuation of learning plan for districts be approved as presented.
I make a motion, we, the Russell County Schools continuation of learning plan is approved.
I'll second.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Higginbotham,
Yes.
Mr. Katsas, and Ms. Wicker.
Yes. We learned about this NTI at some of our conferences that we went to, and we were impressed. And I think it's turned out to be a really good thing.
Back in the day, I can remember when people just first started talking about it, and there was a few districts in the state that were piloting it, and whoa, look how far we've came.
That's what I was
Your
thinking.
buddy in Alfred County, Mr. Probasky, you know, he was one of the first districts that piloted
I know it.
at the very beginning.
We raised him right.
They was raved about it. Personnel reports?
Mr. Stephen Kinder, naval science and JLTC instructor, Senior Chief Kinder, has been a staple of our JLTC program for a number of years. I just want to publicly thank him for his service, not only to our country and in the Navy, but also to our students here at Russell County Schools, and we will miss him and wish him well in his retirement. Clifton Bunch moved from standby bus driver to substitute bus driver, and Dustin Carroll moved from substitute bus driver to standby bus driver. And Zach McFall, we've had several folks that were doing their student teaching, and at the same time, due to some regulation changes, they could also serve as in a limited capacity as a substitute teacher. So, for instance, Mr. McFall, here Zach is one of those individuals approved as a substitute teacher. Miss Atkins, we wish her well. She's resigning from Russell County High School and is going to be employed at Campbellsville University next year. Miss Macy Johnson, resignation as assistant volleyball coach at Russell County High School. Miss Megan Tarter, non-renewal, and Mr. Dalton Robertson as non-renewal. Sometimes positions are posted as emergency certification positions, and when any time someone is hired initially in an emergency certification, we are required to post that position again. So sometimes folks get a letter of non-renewal. That doesn't mean that they have not done an excellent job, but it means that we have to post that position again by just following the regulation and laws. And we would certainly hope and encourage folks to apply to be with us again. We'll make that statement regarding some of those folks because we've
Can
had
I take Macy's place?
volleyball coach.
Yeah.
I thought you already were. What score do we have that you don't assistant coach?
There's a Patty.
Not for board members.
Man. You know, I just coach from the stands.
Yeah, like I always do.
Yeah.
All right.
Ms. Wicker, before we do adjourn, I do just want to note again, because I know Mr. Thompson has this on YouTube, but we really, really want to emphasize for parents on Senate Bill 128, or the do-over year, that survey is due back to me or the Russell County Schools by May 1st. And what I don't want is a parent not to have heard about it or didn't know about it or waited until May 2nd or May 3rd. That's not an arbitrary date. That is a date that's set with the with Senate Bill 128. So this is what I've been telling parents and guardians. If they're considering it, go ahead and put your name in the pot, because it would much rather be then, and then they can pull out later versus, well, I wish I would have done that. Because by May 1st, they have to declare their intent for their child to be retained again. It's essentially retention, except for seniors. They get to come back, not as seniors, but just as a supplemental year. And then we can address it. Board members, we have to have that addressed by June 1st. And again, like I said, based upon the numbers that we've got right now, I would be coming to you all and saying, I don't, we can handle this number. We can allow these students this supplemental year. But my only concern was if it would put a particular grade level. If I had 100 kindergartners that wanted to stay back, that would be another issue.
Yeah.
And we do not pick or choose. It's either all the students or none of the students that get to take advantage of that, but with your all's permission. So just really encourage parents to take advantage of that, or to put their naming for it. It's not a done deal till the board approves it, and then we have to submit a plan to the state on how we're going to make allowances for all that. Encourage parents to call me or call in the central office if they have questions. A lot of parents have done that. We've talked through some things, and but I just don't want a parent to miss it if they're considering it.
Okay, Brenda?
Make a motion to adjourn. I told everything I know today.
Okay, all in favor?
Right,
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Hey, Bethany, I do have a question.
Mr. Williams.
Bethany, I do have a question. Where for dogs?